What's going on, guys? This is MrTeej66 Movie Reviews. I am Mr. Teej. Today, I will be taking a look at my favorite Christmas movie of all time, being, as it's the holiday season, 1988's Die Hard, starring Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, and Reginald Johnson. If you've never heard of this movie, which I think is near impossible, but it's a story of New York police officer John McClane. He's visiting his wife in L.A. because she took a job out there, and he couldn't come with her, and now it's been 6 months since they've seen each other, and now he's out in L.A. to try to patch things up. And he goes to the Nakatomi building, which is a giant skyscraper. It's the name of the company is called the Nakatomi Corporation. And terrorists seize the building on Christmas Eve, and he escapes in the upper floors, and he's got to take them out one at a time. And that's your movie. It's very much a, sustained claustrophobic action movie extravaganza. I don't even know where to begin with this movie. It's one of the great action movies of all time. It is the kind of movie that, if you want to say this is brainless popcorn entertainment, it is brainless popcorn entertainment of the highest caliber. It shows that even movies like this can be well-crafted, well-written, well-acted. Does it have anything intelligent to say? Not really. It's pure entertainment, but you cannot get much better than this. Let's start with the acting. Bruce Willis, still to this day, his most career-defining role. John McClane is one of the great action characters of all time. And of course, it's been noted, time and time again, that he's a human being. He gets hurt. He's scared. The character has a certain amount of, over-the-top, larger-than-life theatricality to him, but nevertheless, he's still portrayed as very human, very believable. I mean, there's a part where he runs over broken glass and, cuts his foot up. Ow! That hurts. That great line Alan Rickman has. Shoot the glass. Speaking of Alan Rickman, absolutely one of his career-defining performances as well. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. He is so charming. He is so, so intelligent. And within 2 minutes, this is not a stereotypical, terrorist. This is a well-educated man who knows what he's talking about, and yet there's this sadistic, evil, he'll do anything to get what he wants, which turns out is to rob the building of all its bearer bonds and things like that. But he's so damn charming. Every time I watch this movie, I almost start rooting for Hans, because he's just so delicious. He's the kind of villain you just love to hate. And then, of course, also Reginald Johnson, before Family Matters, portrays a cop who's outside of the Nakatomi building, who talks to John McClane over a radio, and he's basically he's kind of playing the same character as on Family Matters, a more, foul-mouthed version, but it's basically the same character. But I love the back and forth between him and John McClane. They talk over the radio. Yes, kids, remember? There were things called radios back in the day. There were no cell phones. I know, it's hard to believe. And I love the fact that they never see each other the entire film. It's just over the radio, and they really develop a bond. And it's really touching at the end when they finally do meet each other. They know each other. They know each other so well. I cannot possibly go without mentioning John McTiernan, the director, one of the great action film directors of the 80s and into the early 90s. I believe he's in jail right now for illegal wiretapping. I don't know if he got out by now, but man, we need more guys like him. This movie is beautifully paced, and that's what I love about it. He always sets up the geography. You always know exactly where he is, where John McClane is. I'm never confused for 1 second. It is so well set up. The opening 15 minutes is possibly one of the best, setup sequences I've ever seen in any action movie. You get the geography of the building, and you also get to know John McClane just enough to, understand his character and, what's going to motivate him for the next 90 minutes. It's that he's a family man. He's not, it was a different kind of action hero than, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, who are, larger-than-life Superman, or even Chuck Norris, larger-than-life Superman, who just seemingly killed, everyone in the room and barely got scratched. As I said before, he gets hurt, he gets beaten up, he gets bloodied. It's even to this day, it's so rare to find an action hero who is a human being. The pyrotechnics in this movie are off the chain. I mean, without giving anything away, there's an explosion at the end of the movie where, well, I guess I am going to have to spoil it, so sorry. Spoiler warning, where the roof of the Nakatomi building blows up. I mean, And of course, they couldn't actually blow up the real building, so it's a model, and that is one of the most convincing models I've ever seen in my entire life. I still, to this day, cannot believe that's not, a real building, because it is absolutely flawless. The one-liners in this movie are priceless. I won't give away too many of them, but, there's a couple of great ones where he's basically, John McClane's on the radio, trying to call for help, and then the police officer who's in charge of the emergency band goes, "Sir, this band is for emergency channels only." "No fucking shit, Lane! Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?" Just great stuff. And of course, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. I mean, everyone knows that line. But as for flaws in this movie, oh god, there's only one thing that, kind of drives me nuts. It's a very short, probably 5-second scene where, the LAPD is trying to get into the building, and they go across the lawn, and there's, pricker bushes, and the cops, as they're running across, go, "Ow! Ow!" It feels like I don't know what the hell that point of that scene is. I mean, they're fucking SWAT guys. I don't think they're going to be hurt by all these little pricker bushes. It just doesn't make any sense. It feels like the movie becomes like a broad comedy for about 5 seconds. And I'm just like, what the hell is the point of that? But other than that, this movie's spot on. Even the little characters are given great lines. Argyle, the limo driver who drives him to the Nakatomi building, he's got some great lines. In fact, he has probably my favorite line of the movie, which is the last line, which I definitely will not spoil, but maybe one of the best closing, lines for any movie, period, ever. But, even the terrorists all the other terrorists have little tiny quirky character moments. There's a guy who's as they're waiting for the SWAT guys to come in, one of the terrorists sees a the snack shop or the candy bar section or whatever. He just picks up a candy bar and starts eating it. It's just these weird little things because it's just why not? Why wouldn't you? It's free anyway, But rating-wise, like a 9.8. This movie is, I don't want to say it's completely perfect. I guess the only other thing is some of the blue screen is kind of dated, but that's taking pot shots at it. Of course, it's almost 30 years old. God, this movie's almost 30 years old. I'm feeling old now, but yeah, 9.8. Absolutely spot on. If you've never seen this movie, you need to watch it immediately. And it's spawned a million ripoffs, Speed, which is another fantastic movie. Hopefully I'll get to that at some point. Sudden Deaths, Under Siege, Olympus Has Fallen. I mean, they're still ripping this movie off to this day. That's a pretty great accomplishment when a movie can be almost 30 years old and they're still trying to do knockoffs of it. None of them have come even close, though. Even the sequels, which I love, well, some of them anyway, but I'll get to those one day too. But anyway, 9.8, fantastic movie. This is MrTeej66, and I will see you next time.